I'm Cory Welsh and I live in Los Angeles. My day job is I work, like I mentioned, as a trainer and facilitator of new hire onboarding and leadership development programs. I work at LinkedIn. I was at an inflection point where I had been at my, same company for so many years of my adult life, but I knew that something wasn't quite right. I wasn't feeling as fulfilled in my job as I had previously. So I wanted to see if I could find a way to just iron out what it is that's missing. But secondly, I wanted to invest in my skill set because I want to be a leader in my next role, but I had never done any real management training or leadership coaching or development. I learned about your new program, Life and Work Transformation. Something just rang true, and I was like, maybe this is the exact thing I needed because not only would it allow me to dive deep into self reflection and introspection, but it wasn't just going to be around career. It was really marketed as something that would help me like refine my values and learn tips for setting boundaries. And little did I know it would lead me to a cohort where you're learning together. And I'm such a token extrovert. I think that appealed to me, but I didn't even realize how powerful that would be. We could really share in each other's wins and insecurities in a way that brought so much camaraderie and support that I didn't even know I was missing in my life. The life and work transformation was a game changer in making me feel like I was never alone. I always had this support crew I could share really vulnerable things with. And I think by meeting weekly, we developed a really deep sense of knowing each other and consistency. I feel like I could call any of those women almost any day of the week to ask them advice. And now they've become maybe my personal board of directors without me even realizing. We don't naturally get gifted like a career development club that's easy to find. So I think, Hannah, that is a gift that you're offering is you're helping kind of connect people to like-minded souls who want to develop and then invest in each other. As we progressed through the program, of course, we were also learning. I just realized over time, like, wow, the job I'm in is not designed to put me in my self energy, barely at all. And then you realize, well, what am I going to do about it? Our cohort really helped me like gain the confidence or the self-belief to think about those options without that little inner part of me being like, well, Cory, you're being ungrateful for this great job. Or Cory, you might not ever get this opportunity again if you leave it. All those little voices were prominent. And I learned a little bit about how to be kind to them and quiet them. All of that now is serving me, by the way, as I like explore what roles I might want to do next. So what I think I learned at a certain point early in the cohort was that there are times where I'm just feeling burnt out or overextended. And that is simply my own doing. It is not because anyone else is asking me or requiring me to do these things. But I think when you have assumed the identity of someone like who's a leader and who's a connector, it can be really difficult to step back or drop the ball or say, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. I got better at by like taking on two new like frameworks. And the first one is like learning to say no and I just started learning how to say like, I'm actually not free for a call this month as the holidays approach, but I'd love to answer any questions if you have them over email. The second example or like tool that I had to tactically apply was what you taught us, Hannah, about nonviolent communication and basically a framework for saying like why you need something, stating what you need, asking for the change, and being courageous. So I realized if I have needs that are not being met, if I need or hope for my partner to communicate something differently, I have to tell them, or else it's not really being fair to that person, or nor is it going to help me. So when you asked us to reflect, for example, I'll never forget the homework on nonviolent communication. It was about a boundary that you wanted to set and like what specifically did you want to change? And are you willing to ask for it? And after I would practice and maybe I would write that out, Hannah, as my coach, you would reflect and comment on that, which I really appreciate. It sounds silly, but it's almost like having a little mentor on your journal entries. And you would write, hey, I'd love to hear more specifics on that, which held me accountable. And then we'd bring it back to group and you'd coach us. And I would say, you know what? I don't even know exactly what I want to ask of this person, but I know I want it to change. And so the group would say, can I offer a suggestion? That's what I think my favorite part of the programs like work was the reflection exercises. And when you become a really, successful professional or entrepreneur, it doesn't mean that you no longer need help to really like maximize your potential and see your, potential blind spots. And I know many of us who are probably dialing in right now want to improve or at least want to flourish in our careers. Even the most like premier athletes, they all have coaches. So why would we think that we don't deserve a coach as well? And it's not just when you're trying to make a transformation or get promoted, but for me, it was because I was feeling like a dissatisfaction. I think that we all don't only have like the power, but you have the right to really love what you're doing at least the majority of your day at work. And if you're someone who wants to, then this was a really, really cool format for how to get a community out of it and work really intimately with a coach where I felt like, I don't know how you do it all, Hannah, but I was feeling like I got very custom advice and questioning. So I think this is for people who are looking for something a little bit more in depth and meaningful, but it requires you to like do the real work and look inward. That's what I found. It won't just be done for you.